Ever launched something you were really, really excited about?
Hmm.
Great product, loads of potential, only to hear, well, basically crickets online.
Yeah, that silence can be deafening.
Exactly. And in today's world, especially for startups trying to grow fast, having a solid social media plan isn't just nice to have. It's like oxygen, right? Your venture needs it.
Absolutely essential.
And just on that, if you're looking for a bit of a jump start, maybe to boost your profiles, there are resources out there. Something like rapidboost.net. They offer services to help kind of get the ball rolling.
Right, help build that initial momentum.
So today, we're really going to dive deep into why having that strong social media presence is, well, non-negotiable for all startups, really. But we'll look particularly at the crypto space,
Which has its own unique challenges.
for sure. And we want to pull out some real actionable ideas for you to gain traction quickly. We're basing this on a really insightful article full of examples, some good data too.
Yeah, it's a good one. And it really frames social media not just as, having accounts, but as the modern town square.
The town square, I like that.
It's where ideas get exchanged, where opinions form, and maybe most importantly, where reputations get built or broken.
Hmm. So for a startup, it's a direct line, bypassing the old gatekeepers.
Exactly that. A huge opportunity to talk directly with potential customers, not just at them. And the scale is just immense. Billions on Facebook, Twitter.
Billions, yeah.
And then you've got the newer players, TikTok, Discord, super important for reaching those younger tech-focused crowds. The early adopters, often big in crypto.
Right. And the article had a great example, Can, the CBD company.
Oh, yeah, that was interesting.
They didn't try to be everywhere. They just went hard on Instagram and Twitter. And boom, 300% sales increase.
Wow. Yeah, that shows the power of focus, reaching the right people where they actually are.
So how does this whole thing get, amplified for crypto startups? The article seemed to suggest it's even more critical there.
It absolutely is, because in crypto, things like transparency, education, building trust, they aren't just nice to haves. They're foundational, mandatory almost.
Why so much more?
Well, think about it. You've got regulations that are still evolving, technology that can be complex for newcomers, and let's be honest, a fair bit of skepticism still lingering around the whole space.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So social media becomes the way to tackle that head on.
Precisely. It's where you build that trust. The article points to Twitter and Telegram being huge for crypto news, for discussions. That's where the pulse is.
Trust really is the currency in crypto, isn't it? It has to be earned constantly.
Couldn't agree more. And the data backs this up, too. The article mentions, 54% of people use social media for product research.
Yeah, Global Web Index 2023, that's over half.
And then 68% of consumers say a brand's social presence impacts how credible they seem. For a crypto project trying to prove it's legitimate, that's huge.
So it's way beyond just getting your name out there. It's fundamental for trust, for credibility. The article called it mission critical.
That sums it up perfectly. Mission critical for getting found, earning trust, and showing your value.
Okay, I get why it's so vital. So how? How can a startup actually use social media to, drive that growth?
Right, the how. The article breaks it down nicely. First off, brand awareness. Obvious, maybe, but social media lets you tell your story quickly, flexibly.
And cheaply, relatively speaking,
Yeah.
compared to traditional ads.
Definitely. You can reach a global audience without needing massive budgets up front. It's about smart storytelling, being agile.
Solana was the example they used, right?
Yeah.
With Twitter threads and AMAs on Discord.
Yeah, and memes. They really tapped into the online culture. It wasn't stodgy PR. It was direct, community-focused engagement.
Which leads right into the next point, I guess, that community engagement
Yeah.
piece, especially for crypto and Web3.
Exactly. The article calls community the beating heart of a project's survival in this space. It's that important.
So what does that look like in practice? A deliberate strategy.
Yeah, things like regular AMAs, Ask Me Anything sessions, giving people a look behind the curtain, rewarding participation, answering questions quickly.
So it's interactive. You're turning passive lurkers into, invested members.
That's the goal. Stakeholders, not just spectators. It's building that two-way street, making people feel heard, part of the journey.
Okay, got it. And then there's the product itself, using social for adoption and education.
Crucial, especially if your product is complex. Think explainer videos, short tutorials, user testimonials are powerful, demos. Social channels are perfect for distributing that kind of content.
Making it easy for people to get it.
Right, and the article had that crypto wallet example. A 40% jump in activations, just from using Instagram Reels and pinned Twitter threads for onboarding guides.
Wow, 40%. That's significant. Directly tied to the social content.
Shows the impact, doesn't it? Now, something really critical for crypto, tackling that distrust and the whole regulatory maze.
Yeah, how does social help there? Seems tricky.
Transparency is the key word the article hammers home. Open, consistent communication. It shows accountability, which is vital when scrutiny is high.
So using it to fight FUD, the fear, uncertainty, doubt.
Exactly, proactively. Publishing audit results, security updates, explaining your legal stance, asking for feedback. It builds confidence.
The Chainlink example was good here. They built trust through technical docs and collaboration, right? All out in the open on Twitter and Medium.
Yeah, and look at the ecosystem they built. That trust was foundational. It fostered confidence among developers, partners, everyone.
And what about the regulations? Can social media actually help navigate that?
It can certainly help communicate. You can use it to clearly explain your compliance efforts, how you're meeting requirements, talking to regulators, but also reassuring your users.
Okay, so communication, transparency, crucial. Let's talk content then. What actually works? How do you make stuff that people, care about?
Well, the big one is storytelling. Authentic stories, not just sales pitches. People connect with people with journeys.
So like founder stories, user successes, being honest about the bumps in the road.
Absolutely. The article mentioned Uniswap. They built a huge following, partly through really candid threads, sometimes even using humor to explain complex DeFi stuff. It felt genuine.
Relatable, even in a complex space.
And visuals. Can't forget visuals. Our brains process them so fast. Short videos, explainers, infographics, memes. They grab attention, they can go viral.
Yeah, video seems huge now.
Definitely. But you also need to understand the platform, right? Reddit's different from Twitter, which is different from LinkedIn or Mastodon now, too.
Right, you can't just blast the same message everywhere.
No way! You need to know the best practices, the right times, the right formats for each one. And, crucially, engage. Don't just broadcast. Reply, retweet, join conversations, be present.
Okay, that makes sense. So you're doing all this. How do you know if it's actually working? Measuring success.
Critical point. You absolutely have to measure, track those key performance indicators, KPIs. Follower growth, sure, but also engagement rates, likes, shares, comments.
Conversions, too, like website clicks or signups.
Yes, definitely. Also, sentiment. What's the overall feeling about your brand online? And even the quality of the conversations you're having. Is it meaningful engagement?
So it's not just vanity metrics.
Not at all. And it's not static. You have to listen, analyze what's working, what's not, and be ready to adapt, iterate.
Like that blockchain SaaS company in the article. Yeah. They saw LinkedIn was working better for them and just pivoted their focus.
Exactly. They follow the data. That's the smart way to do it. Be flexible.
Okay, so let's try and boil this down. If someone's listening and thinking, right, I need to do this, what are the actionable steps?
The article lays out a good framework. First, clarify your objectives. What does success look like? Set those KPIs.
Know where you're going.
Second, know your audience deeply. Who are they? Where are they? Tailor your language, your content.
Right platform, right message.
Third, choose those platforms wisely. Don't spread thin. Focus where your audience actually is. Fourth, develop a content mix, not just selling. Educate, entertain, engage, tell stories. Keep it varied.
Balance, got it.
Fifth, engage. Don't just post and run. Talk with people. Be conversational.
Be human.
And finally, sixth, monitor, measure, refine. Constantly track your progress, see what works, tweak your tactics, learn and adapt.
Okay, that's a clear roadmap. So wrapping this up, the big takeaway seems to be social media isn't just marketing fluff anymore, is it?
Not even close. It's a core business function, especially for startups, doubly so for crypto. It's how you get seen, how you build trust, how you grow, how you nurture that vital community.
Yeah, it's fundamental. We've covered why it's so critical for awareness, for credibility.
The extra layer of importance in crypto.
The power of real stories, actual engagement.
And the absolute need to measure and adapt. And like we said at the start, services like rapidboost.net can potentially give you that initial push if you need help getting started.
Right. So for everyone listening, maybe the final thought is this. Start treating social media as a core strategic asset, not an afterthought.
Yeah, stop being afraid of it.
Exactly. Dive in. Start building that presence. Maybe just take 5 minutes after this. Think about who you really want to reach, what your main goal is right now, and figure out that very first step. The chance to connect is right there.